all-in, it looks like a good solution, but when you look closely on many aspects, it's not the best. So very often what I see is companies that sell all-in, they push the prospect to Google. You give the impression to the prospect that they can have something super customized, but in reality, if you do your pricing right, they will take the silver pack. Don't review it with your own goals. Think always as a prospect and as a customer. Think about the whole journey. It's not that complex, but when you do that packaging pricing well, it starts to be really, really, really cool for everybody.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this episode of Harvest, the MSP sales show. This one is sponsored, as always, by Sales Builder, your pricing and quotation proposal tool for ConnectWise, Autotask and Halo. You're going to like this one. You know how you always end up at events and you end up talking about packaging and pricing, and it gets all really heated. Typically, everyone's got their own methodologies and the ways around approaching this, and normally there's a real conviction because that's what you're doing in your business. Well, I've got a fascinating guest on today whose entire business is built around packaging and pricing. That's what he does. He's a consultant in that area. So we're going to pull apart the advice and hopefully give you some nice actionable takeaways from the conversation as we listen to a little bit more about what he does. So without further ado, I'm going to invite on my guest today, Laurent-David Hostyn. How are you doing?
Hi, James. I'm doing really well. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to share everything that I can do, what I can share to your community.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're looking forward to diving into this stuff. It looks like we had a quick chat before the show, and there's just loads of material. It's only a relatively short show, unfortunately, so we need to pack in that value. So, but before we get started, there's always something we do, and it's the misconception, Laurent-David. So can you tell us, please, what do people get wrong about you when they first meet you?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm a packaging and pricing expert. I help companies in different ways. So in this field, it's really the crossover of product, service, marketing, sales, finance. And so people think that I have a business background, that I used to work as a sales guy or as a marketing guy, but not at all. I'm an engineer in aeronautic and aerospace. So my dream when I was a kid was to be an astronaut, to work for NASA. So I did this kind of studies. I even learned how to pilot a plane. I learned Russian. I really wanted to be an astronaut, yes. But at the end of my studies, I joined a consulting company and in Paris, in France. And my first project was a pricing project for a big company. And especially it was a value-based pricing project. So I had to help this company that were in 17 countries to better price their product in 17 countries, but by understanding the perceived value of their customers. So it had nothing to do with engineering, but the project worked really well, huge impact, and super strange. I fell in love with pricing at the time. So I'm really rational. I love to quantify things, to work with equation, and suddenly I discovered this universe where you mix sales, marketing, but also finance, and I find it really, really passionate. So that's a misconception. When people see me, they don't think that I studied that. That's my background. Yeah.
That's incredible. So basically, it is back down to earth with a bump, big time, from space this time.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's quite an about term, but I love the passion still. So you're very good at it, and there was a compelling reason to stay in this space. And you've sort of specialised in the MSP area as well now. So that's even more reason to be sort of picking your brain. So thanks so much for that. So we often talk about the pricing strategies. Help me understand this then. So loads of MSPs will be perhaps listening to this, maybe sat around the sort of maybe 1, 2, even 5 million mark perhaps, and thinking, well, I've got some have got like a good, better, best model. Let's sort of start there, shall we? So my understanding is that's not what you'd recommend. So let's understand, why wouldn't we do the good, better, best thing to start with?
Yeah, there are many ways to bundle the offer, to package the offer, and the way I help MSPs first is to open their eyes about what not to do, what are the mistakes to absolutely avoid. And to understand that, the biggest advice that I give to them is think like your prospect. I'm a consultant, I'm an expert, but the answer is not in my head. The answer is in the head of their customers, of their prospect. So I always make distinction between prospect and customers. For prospect, they don't know you, they don't know the MSP, they don't know the founder, etc. And they assess a bit the value proposition. They will assess the packaging, they will assess the price. That's a prospect. They will assess the value before making the decision. Then, if they make the decision, if it's positive, they become a customer. And the customer, they start to consume the value, and then they reassess the price and the value. And very often customers, they say, wow, it's better than what I thought, or it's less good than what I thought, so it's expensive for the service. So it's important to distinguish the prospect and the customers. If you want to be good with packaging and pricing, to think about that, think first the prospect and then the customers.
Are you saying here have like an offering that's like so actually alter the offering or have a different offering up front that you would then transition or?
No, indeed, you should have your packaging and pricing. I say should be future proof.
Okay,
that's why you will see that with a good, better, best, and nice add-ons, you don't shock your customers later. So it's really consistent from the phase where they are prospect to the phase when they are customers. So you can move them easily from a pack to another one later. Not after 1 month, but maybe after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. It will be easier to move them from the bronze pack to the silver pack and to the gold pack. So that's a future-proof packaging. And that's a big mistake that too many companies, they think about the packaging and pricing only by having in mind their prospect, not thinking about what's going to happen later.
I like that. So you're not. Yes, you're not saying basically like you shouldn't do a good, better, best. You're just saying you should lay it out you should lay it out in a way that actually just paves the way, so there's no surprises.
Exactly.
One of the things that we have this conversation all the time, right? So customers, as we know, hate it when you go back to them and you're like, okay, look, we've got this new solution. Well, now we've got more cost, and you might think it's the best application in the world, or whatever. But they know that when it comes to QBR time, these guys are going to try and sell me on more stuff.
Yes.
So you're saying make that an easier transition by sort of putting it up front that there is a path.
Exactly, a path. Exactly, I call that a buyer journey. So again, the key thing is, if you review your packaging and pricing, don't review it with your own goals. Think always as a prospect and as a customer. Think
right.
about
help me through
journey.
that. Help me through that then. So how do we do that in reality? Because I like the sound of it, but how does that actually work in reality then when you're thinking about your customers? And also, do you think does this vary from MSP to MSP, or can you pretty much say that there's a mindset for most people that's similar?
Yeah, so it's in MSPs, in SaaS, in service companies. We always say you need to have your packaging and pricing to be good at lending, so to close a prospect, and expanding. So your packaging should be really, really future-proof. But before understanding well the good, better, best, because that's usually the model that I recommend, but you need to do that really well to have that journey in mind. You need to avoid the two other models. So let me explain a little bit the two models that I see very often among MSPs. And very often I say, don't do that.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
So the first one, very popular one, is the all-in. It's one bundle, one pack, everything included. One price.
People are going to be winners. Laurent-David, I know certain people are going to be at the side of the game. Well, I'm ready to come back on this one. There's a compelling argument for it. But yeah, okay, let's talk about that.
And the all-in, I know many companies that develop that. Really, I see that with small companies. I have a customer, they're making 80 million, and they had an all-in. What's great with the all-in is that it's simple. It's one pack. You show that one price. It can be a price per user. It can be, I don't know, 40 pounds per user per month, something like that. So easy to pitch. But that's the only positive thing. The only. If you see that all-in pack through the eyes of a prospect, I have different criteria. But as a prospect, if you come to me with LD, I have my pack, everything is included. That's one price. There's something in the theory of choice is that I will feel something strange. I don't have the choice. You force me to take everything or nothing. So it's a binary in my mind. It's everything or nothing. So, and I don't have reference. It's maybe everything is clear. Maybe the price is not a problem. Maybe the price 40 is not a problem. But it's the fact that it's everything. And am I paying for a lot of things that I will not use? Am I paying for other people? And so I will feel like, and is it the right price for everything? So I will start to look at a reference point, at competition. So very often what I see is companies that sell all in, they push their prospect to Google and find another reference point to compare, to have two offers to compare, because they don't have a comparison field with an all in. That's one problem. The problem, I don't have the feeling as a prospect that I have the choice in terms of value. I don't have the choice in terms of price. Another problem with all-in, let's say that it's positive, that the prospect signs, say, okay, fine, I sign, it's all-in.
I mean, to be fair, I suppose just to add there, though, one positive there is that you don't have to go back in a QBR to sell stuff. It's, you know, there's always that.
That's a positive thing. That's a positive thing, indeed. Then it's done. It's all-in. But as you're saying, the company is evolving. And then they add new services in the offering, new product in the offering. And at the moment, you need to charge a bit more to your existing customers. They need to understand that the offering evolved. And so you come back, indeed, during the QBR or maybe after 1 or 2 years. And if you marketed your offer too strongly all in, as a customer, you come back and you say, hey, you know what? We have something else to sell you. Yeah, wait, I thought it was all in. What are you saying now?
It leaves you nowhere to go.
Yeah, and you have friction. So companies that do all in, usually they don't do QBR and they don't dare to upgrade, to upsell. So they have more and more customers, but it's a kind of dead end. You have that price and that's it. It's 40 pounds and per user, and that will stay 40 pounds.
But you could increase the price, right? You could increase the price, couldn't you?
Yes.
That's the thing. You can increase the price, but that's kind of the only dial that you've got to mess with.
Exactly. That's a big limitation. It's you increase the price, and very often the communication is like, yeah, we are sorry, we had some cost increases, so we have to increase our price. We are really sorry. So it's communication that is not driven by an increase in terms of value. It's like defensive mode. So that's another problem that I see with all-in. And the last problem that I see with all-in is that if the customer is not that happy, maybe not because of the price, but if in their mind it's all-in or nothing, if they're not happy, it will be nothing. They will leave. They will go to a competitor. So that's the problem with all-in. That's something that you don't have with good, better, best, because if you have done your good, better, best in a nice way, like bronze, silver, gold, and they can sign as a prospect on the bronze, or they can sign on the silver, on the gold. But if you've done that well and they feel that they can be a journey, they can move one day from bronze to silver, from silver to gold. If they understand that journey, they will also understand that if something is happening, they can move from silver to bronze again, that they can downgrade. And it's important to not say that explicitly to a customer that they can downgrade, but compared to an all-in, if I'm not happy, I churn, I go somewhere else. With a bronze, silver, gold, if I'm not that happy with silver, or if I have some budget constraints, I can give a call and say, you know what, I know I'm in the middle pack. Is it possible for the next 6 months to go back to the bronze pack? So, okay, I need less service because I have less money, etc. But later on, I can come back to the silver one. So you can have more downgrades than really customers that leave at the competition.
So it's not doing two things, isn't it? It's paving a path forwards, but it's also giving them that feeling that there's a little bit of a customization element, which could go either way, I suppose.
Yes, exactly. So it's not a defensive one, but it's better to have a retention of an unhappy customer or customer that maybe doesn't have the budget anymore than to have the customer that is just leaving. So that's why usually all-in, I transform the all-in in 3 packs, good, better, best. You have 3 value points, 3 price points. And what the really key of good, better, best is that every prospect, very fast, they need to have the feeling that they have the choice in terms of value and price. Really fast, they need to have that feeling of choice, but very fast, that's the difference between a bad and good, better, best. They need to, nice, I have the choice between bronze, silver, gold. Very often they eliminate one, either the cheapest one, because some they always eliminate the cheapest, some they always eliminate the most expensive one. That's why very often you need 3.
You need
because
that
you
one.
don't know.
It's often the way in the middle. If you're doing the pricing, it's kind of you kind of know that the chances are the most popular package will be the one in the middle, right? That's the whole
Very
concept.
popular.
Yeah.
But you increase the chance that they hesitate between the two first or the last two. But what is really important is that they should not hesitate for too long. And that's when I see that the good, better, best is not well done. If the choice is not that obvious, where people hesitate, I really hesitate between bronze, silver, etc. No, they should have the feeling that they hesitate, but they should make the decision really fast. They should really fast say, oh, okay, I see the bronze, silver, I hesitate. Silver looks nice, but maybe not now. Okay, let me start with bronze.
How does that look in reality? Yeah. So, Laurent-David, how does that look in reality then? What are we actually talking about? Give me an example of what you would call a good, better, best model done well.
Yeah. Can I show you one?
You can. So this is audio and video. So you've got to bear that in mind.
Yeah.
If people in their cars going, oh, great. So I can't see anything. So we'll keep this a little bit brief, but it's an incentive to watch the video version. So yeah, go on, you show. But you'll have to talk through it very well. Yeah, it's interesting because this is a really popular model that I don't know if you're aware of Nigel Moore from the Tech Tribe. He runs a very big community over there, and he's written a book that most MSPs are familiar with, Package Price Profit, I believe it is, and that's all about this model. It's like how this is the sort of the recommendation, but I don't know how much. It's been a while since I've read it. How much it goes into the additional, like the intricacies of the detail of how you make it more attractive either way, and the upsells. So I'm really curious to see how this looks.
Yeah. Let me show you. I will show my screen. Let me show you how I transform an all-in to a nice, good, better, best. What I didn't explain yet is also what is really, really important in the packaging strategy is the add-on strategy.
Okay.
Let me show that to you.
Yeah, so, let's have a look then. And like I say, you have to talk through this one as well because some people won't be watching this. So it's going to be terrible radio.
So let me do it like this. Do you see it?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. Okay. So that's an all-in, all right? So it's something at €39 per user per month, and everything is included, right? So you have security, productivity, like you manage Microsoft licenses, etc., etc. All right? Some service, some support, classic MSP. And that's for 10 people. You might have yearly subscription, but if they take for 1 month, there's a markup. If they pay per year, there's a discount. That's a classic all-in. But here, that's a good, better, best. The problem with this one is €39 per user per month. So you might have some prospect that say, yeah, that's too much, or I don't need this, I don't need this. So from this one, you should transform it into 3 price points. I have one entry offer, cheaper. I have still a point at around 40 and another one more expensive. So I have an entry pack with less service, really quite minimum with the support and minimum of security. I still have the silver with a little bit less value than before. So it's not exactly the same value as the all-in, but it's the same price, but I give a little bit less. And you see here like the QBR meetings, maybe there's one per year. And in the gold, there's a quarterly one. And you have much more things. But here, what is great is that I give the choice. But what I don't like with this one is the price gap between bronze and silver. I might have too many taking the bronze prospects, and I might sell maybe more than before, but at a lower price. So I need to create a journey.
Yeah, so you had, I think it was set at 39 on the all-in package, and then I'm just trying to help out people that are just listening to this. So what are the prices on the tiers? We can just talk through it. So you said there was a bit of a maybe too much of a gap. So what are the 3 tiers there?
Yeah, and here the price is around 20, 40, and 60.
Okay, right, makes sense. So your middle tier is essentially what you had before, roughly. And then, so what are the main drivers then? So how are you? Because the devil is in the detail with these, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So what are the key drivers that you're looking for that really help people make that decision quickly? Then,
exactly. So I changed my pitch from, hey guys, I have an all-in. It's only 40 pounds per user per month. Everything is included. Now it's, hey, dear prospect, I have 3 packs. One is bronze, and it's really the essentials of cybersecurity. So we have continuous monitoring, we have an EDR, endpoint antivirus protection, and we are reactive if there's a problem. We are available from Monday to Friday. We are proactive if there's any problem, and we are there. You can contact us, etc., etc. So that's the minimum of cybersecurity. Sometimes we call this pack the essentials.
And has that got productivity stuff in it as well? So is it, or is
No,
it just
no,
Oh, it
nothing.
literally is like the cyber side? Okay.
Yes. But I can show you other examples. You will see because you can have different strategies. And then I say, but in silver, there, I help you to be more efficient and more secured. Why more efficient? Because indeed you have everything related to productivity. Almost everything. You don't have the email signature, but we manage your Microsoft license. We automate all the updates. We ensure the backups, the storage. We give you some reports, and we meet once a year to see what we can still improve. And that's for only 40, a bit less than 40 euro per user per month. But you also have the firewall, the anti-spam, the password manager. And in the gold pack, here we are your strategic partner with more advice. So there we do the encryption of your outbound email. We provide the email signature. We meet once per quarter. We do the monitoring of your budget, and we are a bit more available for you. We also ensure the connection with all your installed software vendors. So that's the gold pack. And you see here, it's still an easy pitch with 3 points in terms of value and 3 price points. So that's also quite easy to pitch.
Yeah, that's quite easy to talk through, isn't it? So you talked about, so that's kind of what I imagined a good, better, best would be like. So you talked about having an upsell strategy. Is there more to this then, or is it just the 3 tiers? So is there additional components?
Yes, it's more than that. It's the last thing. Here, the problem with this one is that I have a big price difference between the bronze and the silver. So that doesn't help to move the people from bronze to silver. I might have a lot of people taking the bronze or not, and they will stay in the bronze. A nice, good, better, best is when people, they move from a pack to another one at the moment on another. So maybe they start in bronze and one day they should move to silver. But what is bad here is that the price will double. It's from 20 to 40. And nobody likes to see the price double suddenly. So the thing is this. The trick is add-ons. So here, for example, I still have the same packs, right? 20, 40, 59. 20, 40, 60. But look at this. I put those 3 products as add-ons. And look at the difference it makes in the pitch. Dear prospect, you hesitate between bronze and silver. All right. Why do you hesitate? Because they are quite different. Yes, I hesitate because in the silver, I would like to have the firewall and the password manager, but I don't want to take the silver just because of those 2 products. Okay, no problem. I understand. So you should take the bronze and add those 2 products.
So with this, I guess my first thought is when I see this is I think, well, a lot of these clients aren't necessarily going to know what it is that they do want to that level of granularity. So is this something that you think the MSP owners or salespeople should be sort of walking through and sort of explaining? Because, does a business owner want to talk about whether they need a firewall or not? Probably not. They just want to know, like, am I covered? So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, completely. It's this one, to be too rigid, you miss a lot of granularity and you miss a lot of opportunities actually to show that you can a little bit personalize. But the trick here is that you should not have too many add-ons. You should find the right ones. Here it's an example. You should find the right ones. Usually I recommend 2, 3 maximum to create a bit that journey. So to really have the first strong, good, better, best structure, but to give a little bit of granularity, you need to have 1, 2, 3 add-ons to increase your average deal size and to create that journey. Because look at this. If at the moment they need the 3, the price difference between the 2 packs start to be quite ridiculous. And that's how you can be really smart to pretend that you will personalize the first pack. But if they add that themselves, the prospect will say, oh, come on, I should take the silver.
Okay, so as you're adding the add-ons, it adds up to way more than you would have gone for
Yes,
the silver. So it's a natural progression. Okay, that makes
exact.
sense.
And that's the trick. That's the trick is that you give the impression to the prospect that they can have something super customized. But in reality, if you do your pricing right, they will take the silver pack.
Right, cool. I've got questions then. So in terms of how this your experience with the MSPs you work with, putting this on the website, for example. So my first question is: are you in favour of having this and actual pricing on the site?
No.
Oh, okay. God, this is going to be a controversial episode. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Right, okay,
I know
okay.
this one. And yeah, it's that's another big topic. Should you put your price online or not?
And so, go on then. Give me the snapshot version of why wouldn't I do that then? Because that to me looked like something that would be obviously perfect on a web page. If you follow any like Marcus Sheridan's stuff, he's absolutely in favour of being transparent and upfront. So what's your take on it then?
Yeah, it's I've done so many projects of pricing, public pricing pages. I help a lot of SaaS companies, software vendors, a lot, and there are many things that you should consider when you do that. So again, it's not you should not or you should do, but you should ask yourself the right questions. Why? And so some they put the pricing online. They think that it will save them time. Okay, you should. I mean, for me, you should do that when you have a huge volume on your website. A lot of people go on your website. When I say huge volume, it's hundreds or thousands of people on your website every month. That's one thing. If you don't have that volume, it's pointless to put your pricing online. It's really a public pricing page. It helps you to gain in sales efficiency. So you show your packaging, you show your pricing, and a lot of people, instead of having a lot of bad prospects taking the time of the salespeople, they go on your website, they see the pricing page, they make the decision, and so they don't annoy your sales team. But if you don't have a huge volume, if you can handle a few sales pitch per week, it's super important that you talk to your prospect. It's really, really important. And why is it important? It's because the buyers of MSPs, what they do, they buy service, they buy people, they buy trust. It's extremely hard to do that with a public pricing page. You might have a nice packaging, a nice pricing, but they will not see you. They will not hear you. They will not hear your questions. They will not see your eyes, your face, how you react, how clear you are. So and if you have a super nice public pricing page because you have the time to work on it, but then let's say they sign and then they meet you and they find that you are hesitant, not that you don't. I mean, they feel like, okay, you work with a nice agency, you have a nice public pricing page, but you, the human being behind it,
it's not a good fit. So you're setting yourself up for failure.
No, and the thing is, they buy trust. It's a human business. You might have the best equipment in the tool. Especially if a company already had a problem, an IT problem somewhere else. They had a breach, etc. So they will not put the credit card online. They want to meet the people they will work on. It's a trust business, huh? So it's super, super, super important. So just that you need to realize, again, as I said earlier, think as a prospect. Another criteria that I check is what's the deal size. And I've done a huge benchmark with more than 1,000 pricing page, 1,000 in different industries in a lot of countries. More than 70%, should know that more than 70% of the SaaS, they don't put their price online. 70%, the majority of SaaS providers, they don't put their price online. They don't. Why? It's because a lot of them, the basket size is above 5,000 per year, 5,000 pounds per year. And there are studies around that. So when the amounts start to be higher, the people don't put the credit card online. They want to meet the people. So that's why you should not, you don't have to put your price online. What you can put is your packaging. And that's a big difference. You can be really clear with your packaging, but it's not necessary to put your price on the packaging. And I call that hybrid pricing page. You say offer, you show your pack, but or the price, you can give a price indication, starts from X, but you don't need to put your whole pricing online.
Okay, that's good. So you do give an indication. And so what we've just seen there, so for those of you just listening, there was obviously a good better best with columns and the pricing changed. How much of that then would you put on the site? Would you have the columns and just have no pricing and just literally just have the so you can still configure add-ons and stuff, but
but without the price. Without the price, it's a packaging configurator and not a pricing configurator. And then so it helps the people like to be guided to say, wow, okay, it's clear that it's really interesting. I've maybe a price indication, but now I've already a lot of information. I'm ready to have a call with them to finalize the assessment that it will be a nice service provider. And then it's normal, it's normal that you can imagine that it will cost you more than 5,000 a year, maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000. And it's normal that you might maybe not have this information in the first meeting, maybe in the second one. But everybody buying a service above 5,000, it's not surprising to not have the price online. It's not surprising. So you can be a bit patient. What I recommend, of course, is even if you have a deal size of 100,000 a year, as a salesperson, you need to be ready to answer the pricing question in the first meeting. I always recommend to have something that you should be able to give maybe a first draft of a quote, etc. in the first meeting. But that's why it's important to have the right question. And that's why a packaging page, not a pricing page, a packaging page online can already help the salespeople to guide, say, you've seen online, you've seen our 3-packs. Between which one do you hesitate? Between the bronze and the silver. Okay, let me help you to finalize a bit your conversation. And then I will tell you a bit the price. So we have one part that is a subscription, another one that is one shot because we have the setup, the onboarding, etc., etc. But the thing, it has to be a sales meeting that is you should create trust and it should be efficient. If you are clear on your packaging and your pricing, and you are solid in the core of your service, you gain the trust. And again with a good, better, best. Not all in, but you show that you are transparent, that you are okay. Today we have something, but our offering can evolve with you. If your needs evolve, if your problem evolve, at the moment you can move to the silver, or you can downgrade, or we can add an add-on. There's no problem, but it's not a one size fits all. We are flexible enough. We have enough experience with a lot of customers like you, so I'm sure that in our offering we have something in terms of value and budget that can fit for you. And first meeting and can be an offer at 100,000. In the first meeting, if you are good at that, is good.
And I suppose this model, I mean, this idea of simplifying the packaging and the pricing and having the add-ons, that despite the add-ons, it's still quite a nice, easy one to sort of, the cognitive load is relatively small.
Are you tired of wasting time on basic proposal tools? Sales Builder goes beyond PDFs, automating your entire sales process to win more deals and boost profits. Do you want to have a look at how it works? First off, we provide you with the foundation of a nice, simple, centralized view of your company's contacts and all of the useful related data points, and that's automatically synchronized with your PSA. The most efficient MSPs are ruthless about only selling a standardized portfolio. Connect to your distributors for your hardware details and availability too, your PSA to pull in your managed services, and then clear out all of that noise and distraction of ad hoc products and services you've been selling over the years. Define a tight portfolio with service bundles, set your margins, specify standard up and cross-sell items, and make sure that everyone is doing the same thing right across the business. Once you're clear on exactly what you want to be selling, it's time to work out who you can sell it to. Our white space analysis module helps your sales teams get laser focused. Spot the upcoming contract renewals, anything you're underbilling, visualize the service gaps, and focus on the most profitable account growth opportunities. So you know what you're selling, you know who you're selling to, it's time to send a proposal. Get beautiful, error-free, standardized and interactive quotes sent out without all that copying and pasting from supplier portals, adjusting templates, editing product information, all that stuff that just hemorrhages time and profit. With drag and drop content blocks and templates, you can make sure your document really resonates with your customers' needs or even their vertical, but in a way that's fast to produce because it's standardized. Plus, of course, customers can edit quantities and options there on the fly. They can e-sign, and you can see all of this going on right from within Sales Builder. Should your high-paid salesperson be consumed with low value and repeat orders? With Sales Builder, proposals aren't the only way that you can do business. You can flick a switch to activate a personal, web-based Amazon-style shopfront for customers, stocked with only those items and pricing that you want that particular customer to see, and that they can purchase any time of the day or night without picking up the phone to you. So you're sending out quotes, there's activity in your storefront, but what's going to close this month? The quality of information in your pipeline is essentially dependent on whether a salesperson has kept it up to date. But just imagine for a minute a pipeline that updates itself. Sales Builder integrates with your PSA, giving you real-time deal stages and accurate pricing based on the actual quotes themselves. So there's no more forecasting surprises. Tired of clunky sales tools slowing you down? Sales Builder can be your secret weapon. Streamline your sales process, automate tasks, and discover all of that hidden profit. Start your free trial today and see how much you could be missing. We have got a great team of real people with lots of experience here, so let's chat and see how Sales Builder can help you take your MSP to that next level.
That must help with the sort of the quoting proposal process for the salesperson as well.
Exactly. It helps everybody. It has so many impacts. To work really well on your packaging pricing. It has you structure your I would say your service differently. You're the customer success people, the consultants, the sales people. They really have that. A lot of people say we need to work on the sales journey. No, work on your buying journey. Again, think as a prospect. Think about the journey. Like if you buy a Tesla online, okay, first you have the models, the big models, then the options, and then so create that journey. So the 3 packs, the few add-ons, and small decision. Okay, and the contract duration. Okay, you can decide between 1 year or 2 or 3 years. Oh, and what's the advantage of 3 years? You get a discount. If you swear now for a 3-year contract, you get an 8% discount yearly. Oh, great. But yeah, I don't know you yet, so maybe I will not sign for 3 years. No worry. You can decide that later. So if you want to have a better price later, keep in mind that if you want to have an 8% discount, anytime you contact us again, you sign the contract for 3 years and you get an 8% discount. So you see what I mean by future-proof packaging and pricing. Maybe they won't make the decision now in the first, but maybe let's start with 1 year contract. But maybe after 2 months, there will be, this MSP is amazing. The service is amazing. And I remember that we can pay less if we sign for 3 years. So let's give them a call. So we sign for 3 years and we get an 8% discount. So that's a future-proof packaging and pricing. That's what I call even natural upgrade. Again, like between bronze and silver, to reduce the work for the salespeople and account manager with a nice packaging, pricing, and nice first pitch. You put seeds in the mind of the prospect. So during the year, they remember a few things and they contact you again to be upgraded. They say, okay, we took the bronze, but now that we feel that we need that password manager. And I remember that you say that it's in the silver pack. And I also remember that you talk about the firewall and that. So maybe it has been 6 months that we work together. And I think now we are ready to move to silver. How can we do that? Or as I said, I remember that if we sign for 3 years, we get a discount. Can we do that? So, but it's thanks to the salesperson in the first sales meeting and to the packaging pricing that they understand that it can evolve over time and it has to come from the customer. If you've done that really well, you can steer the future upgrade right from the first sales meeting.
Yeah, you're really setting the scene there. It's really down to the salesperson to totally set the scene there for the future, doesn't it? Can I ask you what you do in terms of like a big topic is the cyber stack, because obviously that is changing so frequently, and obviously threats are evolving. So there's all sorts of schools of thought about this, having like this is my 25, my 26 pack or whatever, and that'll evolve. Like how does that fit into this? And what happens in the QBR process now, or whatever you call them? What happens in the regular meetings? If you've got just a good, better, best, are you just looking at add-ons, or what's the idea?
Yeah, it's I call that versioning, and you can find inspiration in Apple. the iPhone. I always explain this story. And it works really well for SaaS and MSPs. And again, it's about creating a story for the future. So why I'm talking about the iPhone? When Steve Jobs released the first iPhone, right? Directly it was iPhone 1 with a price, right? And big keynote, the launch, etc. But it was just the beginning of the story. And they were already thinking about the iPhone 2, iPhone 3, etc. They already had a journey in mind. And I advise every company to think about that packaging and pricing journey for the next 5 and 10 years, like the North Star. So really important because you will articulate a lot of things thanks to that. So indeed, iPhone 1, a lot of things, a lot of features, a product revolution with a price. But there, the question was directly like, okay, in 1 year, we have another keynote. We'll introduce iPhone 2. Where should we put our focus on in terms of product and marketing? So the market will accept a higher price in 1 year for the iPhone 2, 10% higher price. And so every year it was, okay, what should we improve in terms of product marketing? So the market will accept a higher price in the future. And actually that's version. Then the whole thing is orchestrated like around the keynote in September. And every expert in the world are, what will be the change with the iPhone 2? What will be the price? And then iPhone 7, iPhone 8, etc. So everything.
I don't know if there's the same anticipation from the clients waiting for the new MSP offerings. I've got to be honest with you. I don't know whether that same anticipation is there necessarily. Yeah, but go on anyway.
But that's the thing. Is you need to orchestrate it, to gamify it a little bit, to make it a bit more positive than.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What do you reckon?
It's another thing. What I like with service companies is they're all experts, all. And and they all work. I mean, depends, huh? But for example, I have an MSP customer. They are really specialized in restaurants. The customer of that MSP, he target only restaurants.
Yes,
only restaurants.
Yeah, very successful model for a lot of people.
Yeah, he worked, and his packs. It's not bronze, silver, gold. It's 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars.
Yes.
The whole universe is around that. Okay, this guy his company is a successful company. They are expert in cybersecurity, in a lot of things related to IT. And as he works with a lot of restaurants, every time he does the QBR, every time he meets his customer, yes, he talks about this customer, but he talks also about the other restaurants, about other stuff.
I see. Okay, other things they're working on, just to sort of show what their capabilities are.
Exactly. It can talk about AI, digitalization of few things. It can talk about stuff, other things than his core value proposition. So he's seen by those CEOs of restaurants, he's seen as a guy with market intelligence.
I like this because it touches on the marketing side as well, doesn't it? So you're building that story constantly, and so then it's a case of, okay,
he's the IT guy, MSP, but as he's working with a lot of other similar companies, his customers, they're excited to see him coming because he's always sharing a few nice stories about other restaurants, what's working, what's not working. So it's market intelligence. So you can create a bit like the keynote, you can create kind of something exciting, and you need a bit like what's the success of Facebook, Instagram, etc. is kind of dopamine. People are excited. What's going to be next when I will scroll? And IT people they must be able to create these kind of things. I know the topic's not always exciting, but when
it can be, can't it? With AI particularly now, they've got something to get their teeth into.
It can be. You can find so many topics, maybe not even IT related, but you need to create that. So the people like the keynote, they start to be excited about, okay, we need to meet them again. What will be the new story, etc. To create something. And it's not every quarter, but probably once a year. There's that story of the versioning. Is okay, we are the bronze, silver, gold of 2025. And you know what? In September, we're going to have the bronze plus the silver and gold. So you can not the 3 packs, but you can duplicate one of the pack. Very often I say, the bronze. And so you have, instead of having 3 packs, you have bronze, then bronze plus silver and gold. or you have bronze, silver, silver plus, and gold, or you have bronze,
Doesn't that
silver.
just get really messy? How do you carry that on year after year though? Like surely that
No,
you end
no,
up with
and you have the bronze plus, and you have to phase it. So that's the key.
Okay.
You have to phase it. You have to say, like the iPhone 2, but the iPhone 1 was still there. But you
Got it.
announce that the iPhone 1 soon will not be sold again.
Okay. So you never have any more than 2 in each tier, but it's just that you're
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So that's why it's not like six packs. You have 3, then you choose one, where actually because you have new service, new product, and you say, okay, it's a silver version, but better. So you have both, and you still show that you know what, you are on the silver, but we are introducing the silver plus. You can stay on the silver, but silver plus maybe might be quite interesting. It's only 20% more. And you know what? We still sell the silver, but in 6 months we stop selling the silver to our new prospect. You can stay on the silver, but at the moment they need to feel that they are behind, that they still with the iPhone 1, while everybody start to have the iPhone 2 or maybe the iPhone 3.
I get where you're going, man. This. Do you know what? I think we need like a 2-hour episode for this one because there's just so much more to delve into with pricing, isn't there?
Yes,
I
can share so many things, but and you see, it's not that complex, but yeah, it's to put things into music. It's nice structure, nice narrative, and when you do that packaging pricing well, it starts to be really, really, really cool for everybody, for the salespeople, for marketing, for the prospects. You start to have compliment for the prospect saying, yeah, I like your packaging, your pricing. It's clear, it's transparent, it's fair. And that thing that it's normally like this, like headache packaging and pricing, it start to be nice to solve.
This is the Rubik Cube. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, for those of you listening, Laurent-David's holding up a Rubik Cube that's not been solved. So that's the analogy, right? trying to get all the coloured sides sorted. So listen, I think we're going to have to probably just get you back. I think that's the only other way to do this, really. But I can't let you go without talking about obviously projects are huge for MSPs. So a lot of project revenue comes in for MSPs. That's just one-off costs and things. Do you have a view on that and how this fits into the model? Is there anything we should touch on briefly, even if it's just to sow the seed for a future conversation? I mean, because this is only one element of the MSP model. Yes, that we want the recurring revenue, yes, as much as possible, but you can't forget about the project side because it often is a very sizable amount. So do you have any tips around that, or do you just tend to focus on the recurring stuff?
No, it's the same principle. The project side, it's I still have MSPs, that have the old model and that they are not yet MSP. They try to move to the MSP model to have almost everything on recurring. But the MSP part is only 20-30% of the business. They still have, I would say, the old revenue model. Some they still place people, they charge per hour or per day, etc. But these principles, next time I will show you more examples probably. But this principle of packaging pricing is the same. So you can have packs of hours, of packs of days. You should display them in the right way. You can be really smart in the way you place some add-ons in terms of service, price the add-ons. It's the same that I do for projects, especially projects. Some MSPs, they win really big deals and they need to have like a first phase of 3 months or 6 months of setup. Audit, setup, training, configurations, quite heavy. Same thing. I told you, even big deals around or more than 100K. Even there, it's go back to the theory of choice. You can say to a prospect, let's say you have a prospect with hundreds of people. So it has to be a big project, and say, you know what? For the first phase, the audit, setup, training phase, we have 3 options. We can do something quick and dirty, but it's cheap, but it's quick and dirty. So there's still some risk, but it looks like you have someone internally that can do that. You have an IT guy that can do some things, and we don't want to overlap too much. But we have another pack that is a bit better, so it's a bit more peace of mind. And we have another one with really, this one is peace of mind. So it's more expensive. We do a really much stronger audit. We do all the configuration, and we do really, really strong training, but we gamify the training, etc. And we make a nice report for your board members. So you have the buying for the board. So it's much more expensive. It's 3 times the price of the first pack, but it's something that you do only once. And you know what? If you already subscribe for 3 years, etc., we give you that third pack, settle onboarding, at half of the price, because you already engaged with us for the next 3 years at that 100 or 200K per year, something like that. So I don't want to have the time to show you that, but you can create a journey, again, a buying journey with the recurring part, the project part, and also a la carte. So you can create a whole, I would say, universe for any kind of revenue model. So, but the same principle: theory of choice, clarity in the value choice, the price choice, create kind of journey. So that's really important. So they don't feel like it's one size fits all, that they feel forced, like the all-in, like, they need to feel something, but then apply some tricks. So they start, and then at the end, they land on the pack you want them to land, or something like that. So,
so much of that makes so much sense to me, and I suspect there's probably an awful lot of work to get to the point where you make it simple, but then there's normally value in doing that for customers. So, listen, I think we're going to we'll stick a fork in it, pin in it for there on that stuff. You've given us so much value. I've really enjoyed that chat, and my mind is buzzing with like, we need to get you like on webinars and stuff, because I think MSPs would love to be able to. I want to hear what the different people that have the different pricing models would say to you, and I think it could be. Really
I do that very often now. I do that very often. Webinars, like 45 minutes, where I show examples and then open conversation. And there are so many false beliefs, but when people see something, they're like, I've never thought about that. And it's funny to see sometimes I have MSPs like active since 15 years that were really, they thought they had the best thing, and then they meet and they're like, oh, you do like this, oh, you do like this, and they take ideas from the others, and that's super nice to see.
This is so cool. I love it. Listen, we have some standard segments we have to get through in our chat, Laurent-David. So this is, we have, our first one is called Pass the Pitchfork. And this is where we get one of our previous guests, in this case, it was Peter Kajawa from ConnectWise Service Leadership, to ask you a question. So obviously he doesn't know who you're going to be, but he just ask a blind question. He's got a fun one for you here. So, AI, can you please solve the issue of how to price AI services? And I know that's just like a massive broad spectrum of what that might be, but do you have any take on what you see potentially with your clients on how you can look at the model around AI? Because at the moment, I think the consensus is, well, that where people end up is just doing individual itty, project work to just, get something going. But do you see a recurring model there emerging that's working with the sort of AI consultancy or, application? I hesitate to say application development because that's a whole other area, but any of the AI fueled services. Even I'm struggling with the question. How are you going to do the answer? So, yeah.
It's I can say a lot about AI. Of course, we're using AI ourselves a lot. It changed completely our organization. It's and I saw that also within some MSPs companies. But first of all, I also realized, I spend quite some time on LinkedIn with different kind of entrepreneurs, a lot. And you have SaaS companies, you have MSPs. We are always in tech. We use a lot of software. We are comfortable with hardware, with a lot of things, with cloud, with data, with a lot of things. But a lot of SMEs, the huge majority of SMEs, they are still not, I would say, at the basis of software. And when I talk to a lot of SMEs, traditional SMEs, AI, it's ChatGPT. That's it. So, and some, they try to have kind of AI project like, okay, we must use AI to improve things, but they don't know what. And that's really bad projects. They start to use, they spend time, they lose efficiency, etc. So I think we should not worry. I think AI is clearly a revolution, but we are just at the really beginning of that revolution. I think MSPs should not be pushy with AI. They should first listen to the prospect, listen to the customer. If they already identify something, if they really want something, if they have the budget for that. But I would not push for AI project. That's one thing. Second thing is I clearly invite all MSPs to use AI internally. They can save so much time on so many aspects, and especially they can deliver the service in a much better way. And so that's the impact on packaging and pricing. That's the trick where in the trap in which you should not fall is, I think with AI, you can be extremely efficient internally, but also increase the quality of your service. Maybe your meetings, you can be much more efficient. For example, me, all my meetings are recorded with an AI, but not only note taker, but also the video. So after all my meetings, I send the video with the summary, etc. So it starts to be an asset for my customers, thanks to AI. So I increase what I call the perceived value of my customers, thanks to AI. I'm more efficient, but I also increase the perceived value. And by increasing the perceived value, we can defend higher price. Because that's why the customers of MSP will value is that, okay, they help me in a better way than before. They are much more efficient, but there's also more value. And that's the kind of things that you can use to increase the perceived value, so the price, but you don't necessarily need to put that explicitly on your packaging. Say, we use AI to that. No, they don't care about the how. What they need to see is that there was a before and after. That is faster than before. That is better than before. But is it with AI or without AI? They don't care. So you don't need to market that is with AI, but you need to be obsessed about that perceived value. As I said with the iPhone 1, iPhone 2, after the first iPhone, they were like, okay, what should we improve with the product so the perceived value will increase? They improve the quality of the camera, the size of the battery, the duration of the battery, the size of the memory. So they focus on a few things to increase the perceived value and defend higher price. And for me, AI it's a huge opportunity for MSP. Sorry to be myself, to be more efficient, but also to increase the perceived value. Work on things to increase the perceived value. So even if you don't change your packaging through several years, it will be easier to increase your price for the same pack. Say, you see that we are faster than before, that the quality is better than before. So that's why now we charge 5% more than before. But it's saying because you invested in AI, you invested in the perceived value increase. So yeah. So I say that I can say so many things about AI. It's for me a huge opportunity for a lot of business, but be wise, don't rush, don't jump on it. And just listen to your customers, your prospect. Don't be too pushy. And yeah.
That's really good advice. We don't hear that much necessarily. So what I'm hearing is, get it right internally, because not only does that help with the perceived value, but also by doing that, it's going to put you in a better spot, obviously, to help your customers. I mean, clearly there is that I think people are obviously worried about missing the boat. This stuff is moving incredibly quickly, but they're also I guess looking for how to offer, new services that are literally, this is my new AI consultancy package or whatever. But actually, there's a lot of value in in just your overall package pricing, driving that up and doing it more efficiently in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah, love that.
As you were afraid, with add-ons, you a lot of times by doing that you create a new mess actually in your offering. And it's not like you've been doing AI project for 5-10 years, so your prospect might feel like you try something with them, etc. No, just work on your own foundation, be better than before, market that really well. It's thanks to AI, and then a bit later. And again, don't force. Really, so many SMEs that they're already happy with ChatGPT, and that's it. So
yeah, I love that. Okay, that's cool. That's a take on it I haven't heard, I've got to say. So yeah, really good advice. Do you have a question for our next guest as part of this segment? Is there something you would like me to put to our next? Could be an MSP, could be an industry expert.
I think there's no good or bad answer, but it's a bit related to pricing, of course. What would be the advice of that person? Should a company go for revenue, go for profit, or go for volume? So what's the most important metric, KPI for a company? Because depending on your pricing, you will either foster more volume, more customers. So if you have a low price, you have more customers, but it doesn't mean more revenue. and very often not the best profit. But if you have high price, you have less customers, but much more profit. And if you have a pricing bit in between, you might have a decent revenue, but maybe not the best profit and maybe not the most market share. So my question to the next person is, should companies go for profit, revenue, or volume?
Wow. You opened a Pandora's box there for me. Thanks a lot. That's going to be for the next episode. The next guest is going to be able to get their teeth into that one, definitely. Our final segment is industry manure. And this is where you get to have your say on what you hear in the way of advice, whether it's out at events or in the industry, that you just think, no, that is absolutely a crock of shit. I don't agree with that at all. That's going to do more harm than good to your business.
Yeah, I talk about it a lot. For me, I still see some, I wouldn't say expert, but coach, go-to-market coach, saying all in. MSP should do one pack, all in, everything included, simplicity. And as I said, I've seen so many companies that I understand why they do that, because of the simplicity. But after 1, 2, 3 years, they realize that they have so many problems. The problem that I explained, it's hard to upgrade. They have some churn. They have so many problems with all in. So, my position very strongly against all in pack. I think it's a big trap. It's oversimplicity, unfortunately. So, and at the moment or the other, you have to do a step back. So, jump directly to good, better, best. I didn't talk about other models. I talk a lot about good, better, best, and there are other models a bit in between, but avoid all in. At least 2 packs, or all in with some add-ons, but just a pure all in. Avoid that. That's
Okay, I'm just smiling because I can think of some friends actually in the industry who are going to be going, wow, no, absolutely not. So I at some point, I'm going to make a show out of bringing you together and having this conversation. Anyway.
And I have concrete examples of companies that move from one, then all in, then and it's funny to really see the evolution on the KPIs about the closing rates, the sales cycle, the average deal size. I mean, when you really track all the KPIs, I mean, I've been doing that for 15 years, and I saw that at the end, all in, it looks like a good solution. But when you look closely on many aspects, it's not the best. Yeah.
Laurent-David, you've been an amazing. You've been an amazing guest. That's cool. It's your opinion, and you're backing it up with data. So that's really, that's great. You've been an amazing guest. Thank you so much. It's your turn. We do a yell from the barn. This is your shameless plug. 30 seconds. Let our audience know what you're up to and where you'd like them to come and engage with you, find out more about you.
Yeah, first of all, they can add me on LinkedIn. They can follow me on LinkedIn. I try to regularly post things about packaging, pricing for MSPs. I have a nice style. It's very visual. I use food, etc. So people really get it quite fast. And I offer 2 things, sparring partner sessions. So usually I review the packaging and pricing with sessions of 90 minutes. So it's 1 to 3 sessions. It can be quite fast, quite impressive, be like solving this in 1 or 2 minutes. So it can be quite impressive.
The Rubik's Cube, yeah.
Yeah, it's but I'm really passionate about the topic. The impact can be huge with a better packaging pricing. It looks complex, but at the end, it's not that complex. And we also have a solution, actually, that helps you to work on your packaging pricing really, really fast on your own to understand what's bad and what you need to improve. And it's quite, I've been developing that for years, so it's quite powerful and useful. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you've got 3 offerings basically. So if anyone wants individual kind of coaching and review, or there's the online SaaS product which looks at the various pricing and analyzes it there, and you've got an offering in between that can plug into CRMs and help with how you pitch this, reach out to Laurent-David. Yeah, so reach out to you on LinkedIn. I presume you've got links to the business there, and they can find out more about you and engage with you there.
Great.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to doing some more content with you. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thanks to you, James. Thanks to you, James.
That is it for this episode of Harvest. If you found this useful, all the links we mentioned are in the show notes. And of course, if you enjoyed it, please do leave us a review and share it with a friend, or even better, someone else in the industry who you know would get value from it. Until next time, happy harvesting.